Welcome to Plant Awareness PSU, to where today we are going to be going over the topic of plants' effect on the sports industry and everything that it does for the athletes. So for the first topic that we're going to be going over, we're going to be going over the plants that actually make sports equipment. So the three main topics we're going to be talking about is the various wood that is used for all the different types of sports equipment that it helps with. We're going to be talking about rubber and all the things that helps make. And we're going to be talking about the major factor of why dyes is such a big part in the sports industry. So now diving into our first topic. So wood in the sports industry and use by any athlete definitely has changed over time, but as you can see on the right side here, I do have a big list on multiple things that it has been used for or is still used for to this day. So such as baseball bats. So baseball bats is a very big topic when it comes to the wood use in the sports industry. So baseball bats have been being produced since the 1840s, which is actually before the MLB was ever founded. So baseball bats, there's about 40,000 trees harvested for one season's worth of bats. So that comes out to an average around 1.6 million bats per year. So that's definitely shows how much wood is just used for just one particular use in the sports industry. Now, same goes into like cricket bats. Obviously, a lot of wood's harvested just to make those. But for other things on the list, so football goalposts in the past have actually been made out of wood before aluminum was accessible. So same with that actually. Metal bats didn't come out until the 1920s, so that definitely shows how long baseball bats had to be made of wood before there was even another option. So as you can see, hurdles and pole vaulting, before there was actually other better materials to use, wood was used for both of those. Basketball courts to this day are still made out of wood. Bowling alleys are also still made out of wood. Pool cues, same thing. Surfboards, same thing. Archery bows, and ping pong paddles. So now moving on to rubber and latex. So rubber has been farmed since the 20th century, and it is famous from the rubber tree. No, not famous. So now reaching our final topic for the plants and how it makes sports equipment. So dye's responsibility definitely serves a huge purpose across just the production of team memorabilia, just because without dyes, we wouldn't have any colored clothes. So if we didn't have any of that, we would end up having to rely on either symbols on a shirt, or you would imagine whatever a white t-shirt would be, and they'd have to either have designs or different styles or anything like that. So without actually having the resources to make like colored jerseys, we wouldn't actually be able to have like team specific colors, and it just wouldn't be the same as it is today. So various dyes come from anything from roots, berries, bark, leaves, wood, fungi, and various flowers, such as if you wanted to make red dye, you'd crush up some roses, and if you wanted to do yellow inks, you could do some like daffodils, and so on, but with the color of the flowers. So as I said, if we did not have dyes, we wouldn't actually have like the team colors that we would have today. So now moving on to our next topic, we're going to be talking about the benefits of what happens when an athlete changes their diet over to a plant-based focused diet. So there is many pros, as you can see on the right side, as such as controlling diabetes and also lowering chance for heart disease. So this all comes from the low intake of salt when you change over to a plant-based diet, as is very frequent in most meats. So that also comes down to some cancers. Some meat actually has enzymes which cause this, and without that, that could lower some chance at some active cancers. But for some examples of plant-based diets, we have things such as vegan, which is no animal products, so no meat, eggs, or dairy products. But there are other two options that not many people know of, such as the lacto-vegetarian. So this still allows no meat or eggs, but dairy products are okay. And then there's also another one that's the lacto-ovo vegan, which is no meat but dairy products and eggs are okay. So with these other two options, you can still maintain to get enough protein into your diet, and it would most likely be good protein just cause coming from eggs, especially if you substitute it out for egg whites, then it removes even more calories and helps maintain your weight. So now moving on to our last topic, we're going to be talking about how plants help make the medicines that also are used on athletes. So starting off, we have things that are like more basic, as such as the use of aloe vera. So the aloe plant definitely helps a lot of athletes just because of their hot outside training sessions constantly. So they might even be able to use a lot of sunscreen, but even if they do somehow get burned, they don't want to end up having to feel that burn the next practice. So aloe is definitely a very well known go-to for a lot of outdoor athletes. but also plants help make some more basic over-the-counter medicines such as ibuprofen. This is also like very used across athletes just because of how sore they get, super easy access just being over the counter. Now, coming down to the last two, these are a little more controversial just because of like what's legal and how you actually obtain it. So marijuana has become a lot more legal in a lot of states. So athletes that actually live in those states are able to use this. This is also ties into stuff as ibuprofen as it's used for a relaxant and also eases on muscles. And then to our last one, so opioids are definitely have to be prescribed by the doctor, but these are used on athletes for like serious injuries, such as like a broken leg or anything like that that they have to like cope after maybe surgeries that they have during the season. So in conclusion, I hope I've shown some awareness on how plants are used across the sports industry, such as their use as making sports equipment as well as making medicines for athletes, and then wrapping it up on how it offers athletes a better way to change their diet to maintain weight and all the other better health benefits.